Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Noxxi and this is a new heal support ritualist build that I've been playing in Visions of Eternity since it's been released finally. A lot of changes have been made since the beta that we had a good while ago, and I have to say that the heal ritualist became much better to my surprise compared to what it was in the beta, and it actually works much differently than what I was expecting. But I've been playing this for the past 2 days and testing it further and further, and I found a very chill and very good feeling build for QuickHeal support ritualist, which is not too easy to make. Honestly, it actually works very easily, and I have my little alt here that I will pop in here in a very moment. I will be using this as a heal dummy later on if I can in the video, and I will try to keep this short as much as I can, so I will try to explain the build itself and kind of how you play it, which is going to be very vague in a sense because as I said, the build is actually quite chill. There is nothing strict, and it's exactly why I like it. So let's get into it first. Basically, it's pretty much the same build as most heal support on Necro at least. You can go either Harrier or you can go either Giver stats. If you don't know the difference between them, that both set has healing power and concentration on them. The difference is that Harrier has power stat and Givers has toughness stat on it mainly. Currently, I am just quickly tested out what it feels like if I have the armor pieces and weapons on Harrier and just having the other half of my stats being toughness with the Givers. You can see that it's basically halved. For runes, you have Rune of the Monk, at least that's what I'm running with currently, and that's what in general I run with for the Boon duration extra. For the weapons, for stats, again, you can run mix and match Givers with Harriers however you want. It really doesn't really change much. Your potential for DPS, if you care about your DPS as a healer, will change between somewhere around 4k to 7.5k, or maybe even 8 if you are really sweating it hard. But for the weapon stats or the sigils first, I shall mention that the sigil of transference is I would advise, and sigil of concentration, the same for your other weapon, which will be mandatory staff because you are heal support. Talking about the weapon of what to use, I would absolutely suggest to have Warhorn as offhand, and for main hand you can honestly go whatever main hand you want. You can pick scepter, dagger, axe, sword if you want more movement, whatever. It really doesn't matter, honestly. You are not really going to use it. But yeah, for weapons you can have anything in main hand for your secondary one, but you want probably offhand Warhorn, mainly just simply because currently that's your only sweetness source to give to your party and yourself. Apart from that, that's basically it. For relic, I currently run Relic of the Monk simply because I wish to unlock a new relic soon once I can get to it, which comes from Visions of Eternity as soon as I can find it. Hold on, it's this one. It's going to be the Relic of Castora, and I really wish to acquire this because I feel like this could be very fun to use, especially since my builds and the way I play, or not really the build, but the play style I go with is usually about pumping out as much heal as I can while also keeping up, of course, the boons and everything I can. That's quite, basic things, but my fun comes from just seeing the numbers being more and more and more. And Relic of the Castor are going to be very interesting, considering that for everyone I heal below half health, my healing increases by 25%, which is not negligible at all. So it's very interesting, considering that Relic of the Monk is only 10% for like 3 seconds on you. So having this one once I can get it will be very interesting. Now, talking about the build still, I shown the gear. I hope I didn't really forget much about this. I talked about the sigil, the runes, the gear stats. Let's move on to the traits in that case. It's the same basic support one as you would use on Scourge or anything else. There are still some selectable choices you can go with it. These are mine usually on Blood Magic is your first. I usually still go for Ritual of Life for that lesser well of blood, for faster revives a little bit. It's still a free AoE heal effectively, even though it's lesser AoE heal, because this lesser well of blood is still the old well of blood, because it has less healing on your allies compared to you. For the middle one, I personally like Life from Death still more than Vampiric Presence, honestly. You can play with Vampiric Presence too, it's nothing too bad with it, but I still feel like long term is still less than what you could pull from Life from Death. This is more persistent than the other, but Life from Death is much more bigger heal when you actually want it. And of course, Transfusion is mandatory. This is what makes your staff being a healing weapon, that it triggers on allies, and also each mark heals allies and do different effects. The middle trait line I use here is the Soul Reaping. It's very basic ones. I still use the soul marks because honestly, you will be playing with Lingering Spirits, so I will explain that, but the extra little life regeneration from staff is just feels nice, honestly, there, just in case. And of course, I usually tend to use Vital Persistence because I just like the more health and more incoming healing to myself as well from it. And of course, Eternal Life, which makes it that I have a passive life regeneration. Now, the last one will be Ritualist, obviously, and here I am using Spirit's Gift, where basically whenever you summon a creature, aka your spirits, mostly because you are not going to use minions or anything, it's going to heal allies around you, and this is going to be very good with other combinations of traits and effects that I will try to explain. You are going to go Empowering Spirits for the quickness and extra boons on everything, and then in the Grandmaster trait lines, you are going to pick Lingering Spirits for this one, because genuinely speaking, Lingering Spirits, now that it's been reworked and different from what it was in the beta, where all it did in the beta was that your spirits would linger after you leave your shroud, so it wouldn't destroy them, and they would attack in a 2-second interval instead of 3 seconds, which is honestly, it was kind of nothing in my opinion, but whatever. However, this one feels really good, not because of the bonuses it can give for that like 20% healing increase to others, which is actually crazy good in my opinion. It's actually, I love that, but mostly because just having your spirits around for this playstyle feels amazing. And my problem is that because of this now, I just cannot suggest picking Wielder's Boon or even Soul Twisting anymore. So these are either staying for some for like a DPS pick or something like that, but you probably want Lingering Spirits for DPS as well because of the Anguish's bonus for 15% increased damage that you do. But Wielder's Boon can be good, I guess, in a sense for like maybe PvP or versus word or such. Soul Twisting, I'm not really sure anymore. You can do some tricks or tricks with them, I guess. I used to pick Soul Twisting in the beta because it just worked better, so you could always keep casting Preservation. But basically, Lingering Spirits makes Ritualist feel like a actual Ritualist, and I wish that Lingering Spirits, the effect that spirits linger around, will be baseline for the Ritualist, honestly, because it just feels good. But this one, with these bonuses that you have 20% healing increase to others, Wanderlust gives you 50% movement speed, which is actually stronger than a swiftness on you during combat, which is nice. It is still not a super speed, obviously, but it still does make you actually faster in combat than swiftness will be. For Anguish, you know that 15% damage increase is really negligible for you because you're a hero, so you don't really think about it, but you want to spam Anguish and all the spirits for the boons, for Might Fury and everything else you can do. Basically, you can provide max stacks. I know that the numbers look off right now because I was testing it on the golem, and sometimes when you get into combat sooner before you hit the golem or anything else, then it will miscalculate things. But basically, permanent max stacks of might is easy. Permanent fury, regen, protection, quickness. Basically, half the time you will have resolution too because of preservation. Empowering Spirits gives resolution on preservation, so that's pretty much going to be on you like half the time, which could be a little bit more in a sense, like you are able to pump it up a little bit further if you do a very tight rotation. But my point of this playstyle right now with this build is that you can actually do a lot without sweating the gameplay, actually. The only thing that makes it a little bit sweaty is swiftness, which I've been giving a feedback on, that I think Ritual should be able to provide swiftness, even if just a lower duration one or short duration one, with something else, like any of the weapon spells or something, or by any other means. Because swapping to Warhorn to cast Locust Swarm only for the swiftness and then basically do nothing in this because you are not going to use anything in it, maybe for CC, like the Warhorn CC and the pistol free CC is good, but you can just do the spirit thing or cast anything else to do some extra CC. So it feels just a little bit, I don't know, just not that good. Permanent vigor is there, of course. Then swiftness technically is permanent because with the Warhorn you will always have extra 10 seconds of overlapping all the time, as long as you keep it in mind to weapon swap. And basically in combination, resolution is there as an extra. Stability, unfortunately, will not be permanent anymore. You can keep up an average of 2.5 stacks, but again, that's not how stability works. There is no average. It's either up on you or not to prevent, you know, CC on you, but you can still overlap a very nice duration with them, about 26 seconds if you really have to. You can cover with a base window of like 3 stacks of stability, because of the staff has the least stacks of stability, while this provides 5 stacks for 10 seconds. By the way, the tooltip is still bugged, unfortunately. It still shows the non-boon duration version. It provides double because I have 100% boon duration, so it will be 10 seconds of stability and 8 seconds of resistance and 6 seconds of ages. And honestly, talking about the inner weight skills, I am glad that they reworked them, that these don't pop the spirits anymore and don't destroy them. This makes your gameplay so much more reactive. I am actually very happy the way they did it. But if you pick lingering spirits with this, in combination with your inner weight skills now, this actually feels so chill and just relaxing and more reactive. Like, you actually can just use things. Sure, you will mostly spam like inner weight anguish for that fury and might, and if you need to, you can just press inner weight $1 for some CC, but I usually just spam it for the life force if I have to. I honestly don't really care. It's very niche. The fear doesn't really do much of a CC, but it's still CC regardless. But because of lingering spirits, that your spirits are always out, even though I know that currently I have no spirits, these are still up and available to press, but nothing will happen obviously because I have no spirits, because these happen on the spirits. This is more reactive because I can just keep it up, and whether or not I am in Shroud or outside of it, I can always press it for a stability or, you know, and or Aegis when I need it. I mostly use it for the stability instead of the Aegis, because I feel like when you need the stability, the Aegis also comes in handy. Either way, you know, it's kind of like that. So I get it that, you know, you could criticize it that like, oh, it's kind of bad that my Aegis is on the stability, but it's kind of whatever. It's really not the end of the world, and I'm kind of still happy that you have an Aegis and stability put together. That's still not a bad combination regardless, and you have a resistance there too. So it's actually pretty good, because you know, that makes non-damaging conditions currently on you ineffective on you. So, you know, like fear won't happen on you, so it can even counter fear or something or whatever you had on you, because stability doesn't really work against something like immobilize, but I think resistance works against that, so you can actually counter much more with that than just stability. That's practically it about the build itself, like how you put it together. For skills, again, for the other thing, kind of like, you know, while I talk about the utility skills, the utility skills are actually whatever you want. I actually kind of like that, because you can use the weapon spells. Like, I actually enjoy using just these because they are more situational. I don't have to spam these for anything. I don't need them for any boon, for anything to generate. I don't need them. I only need them when there is a situation for it, and I like that. I'm so much more liking heal Ritualist reactiveness and more sort of reactive gameplay compared to Scourge, where Scourge is just spamming everything it can off cooldown. I know you don't have to, but it's how it feels alright on Scourge because of your barrier spam. You always want to just spam barrier, you know, and therefore you always just do everything to keep it up. And I don't like it's not that I don't like it, it's just a way different gameplay. Basically, all of these are basically flex slots. Like, you can just put whatever you want on them. Like, if you need CC or something else, you can pick Spectral Grasp or whatever. Actually, to mention, I would say that the only downsides to this one, the Hair Ritualist, is that probably your condition removal is a little bit low, which I have given feedback about on the forums already. Hopefully, maybe they do something about it. Probably they won't, but your only, you know, condition removal is effectively your staff and your weapon of remedy and whatever other niche things you can do to remove conditions, really. But it's not that much, really. It's a bit of a struggle. It's not the end of the world because you can, you know, do things. Like, your healing is quite good, but conditions can be very annoying, honestly. Like a slow and cripple and chill on, and, you know, I just can't remove it. It's quite that's something. Before I show the build, I want to explain the weapon spells a little bit. I actually like using Zinra's weapon. It's very niche, however. I still think they could perfect it a bit further. It now activates on losing 15% of your health instead of 5% of your health, which I very happy about because I did give feedback on that previously. Weapon of Warding is really good, however. Unfortunately, without Wielder's Boon, you only give one stack to everyone, but it's good because it's instantaneous and it is not aegis, so it cannot be Boon corrupted. Weapon of Reverie is also good. It still removes 3 conditions on your allies without Wielder's Boon, and then I use Nightmare Weapon mostly because it's basically self-healing on just, you know, auto-attacking a enemy. A Resilient Weapon, I kind of like it, mostly because of this damage reduction effect. It's kind of nice, it's kind of cool, it's just new, I like to experiment with it, but you can easily run just Veil of Blood, obviously. Like, there is really not much between, they have the same cooldown, the healing is about the same, honestly, in total. So the build itself, to kind of show, is actually, I don't know, it's a little bit kind of, I don't know, there's not much to show actually. It's literally just place down your spirits and just enjoy your life. You have a lot to react with, basically, with so many things. I know that I'm not going to press everything right now while I'm talking, because I want to focus on talking and explaining things, but basically I only go into my offhand weapon when I need, you know, the swiftness, which just doesn't feel right. But either way, because of Lingering Spirits, as you can see that my spirits are all out, I can use my Innervate skills for the other boons and effects that I can do, or the Fear from Wanderlust, and I can just keep spamming, you know, Innervate Anguish. And because of Lingering Spirits, I really enjoy it because you can stay even in Shroud if you want to. And because Anguish has low cooldown now, along with Wanderlust, it's nice because you can just basically heal with these too, because since you have the Spirit's Gift, these also heal. So you can do a lot of shenanigans. And actually, this is another example where Summon Spirits actually did not activate on Preservation. It's supposed to create a bubble like that one. By the way, mind you that the bubble is created on the Spirit, not on you, which I have given feedback about because I don't like that, because whenever you teleport with the Spirits, they have a fixed rotation or angle on you. So they will be always in the same, like I don't know, circle around you. I'm not sure how to explain. And it's a little bit annoying because it's always placed on Preservation. And I don't know, if you want to be more precise with the bubble, which is projectile destroying, I feel like this is a bit just clunky. A little bit, like it's next to me, you know. If I want it there, then it's behind me, but if I want it on the group and I accidentally go a little bit backward, then it's still on the Spirit. I don't exactly like that, but it's you know, not the end of the world again. But you can, yeah, it's I like it that they gave it a bubble for Preservation. At least the other effects are kind of whatever. For the CCs, honestly, even for the CC, it's actually pretty good, because if you need a CC, you can just you know, press this and your Wanderlust will do the days on the target. But the bubble is kind of great when you can time it well. Timing it is actually, because of Lingering Spirits, is not that bad, because you don't necessarily have to camp in Shroud, but you also don't have to do this thing where you go into Shroud and just like, oh, spam your spirits and then, you know, you must leave. Like, you don't have to. You can actually stay in Shroud, and if it's nothing extremely endangering, you can stay in it for a while, because your Preservation will be there too if you have to. You don't immediately have to use your Preservation to resummon it, actually. And when you see people going low, you just slam down Preservation, do a Anguish again or something else for that extra healing from Spirit's Gift. And Preservation does also insane amount of healing. Not to mention that if you had your initial spirits up, then because of Lingering Spirits effect, that 20% healing increase to others will be there for your next Preservation again, because they're just continuously there on you now. Like, this one is just always there. So if I do a Preservation again, it will just do 20% more healing even. So it just basically snowballs of itself, if I can call it snowballing. Honestly, I'm not really sure, but it just feels right. Like, it's nice that you can be either outside, as long as you can keep up the quickness, of course. You still have to go back and kind of rotate through your Shroud for, you know, the Anguish boons and whatnot, like, you know, for the Might and Fury, but you don't have to do this, like, this tight rotation, which comes with the other problem that if you go Wielder's Boon and Soul Twisting, you have to do. And that's my current problem with Ritualist, if I may say back during this guide, kind of thing, that Lingering Spirits feels like how Ritualist should be right now. It's genuinely how I feel like I am a ritualist, and it feels good that I have my spirits I can do, and I can leave my shroud, and I have my spirits up doing their effects. I have their effects up, you know, they all give me a little bit of bonus that I can do for other people, you know, the extra healing, the more movement speed for myself. It just feels great. And like generating life force is like easy, because especially if you have staff, you know, even your auto attacks generate life force like 4%. Like you better lose anything, and even just using these give you 10% life force already. And even like, let me just show you that even going into Shroud and losing a bunch of your life force means nothing, because as long as you can just go into Shroud and just spam your spirits immediately, you will have enough life force generation immediately that you can just you will just pop back to like 60% immediately. I mean, in total you will be anyway, but you also have like the staff immediately after. Like let's say that you are low, this low, and then you just spam your spirits, and then bum bum bum, you break them, and you're almost full, and then you can just spam your staff and whatever else you want, and you will be on full anyway. Like you really don't have to worry about life force. Again, it's kind of a guide, but for the gameplay and how you play it, there is not much trick. You just basically use your staff skills, you know, for whatever boons you need, you know, have a brain cell or two of when you want to use something. If you need more condition removal, don't spam your putrid mark for healing. If you need for a moment of stronger heal, then you can go with Chillblains, or you can go into Shroud and just do a preservation, which will also trigger your transfusion Chillblains, which is even more healing. And then if you have a preservation out already, it's even further more healing. And then of course you have, you know, the consumables, which is for the budget one, is delicious rice balls, which gives more healing power. And then you can buy the mist infused maintenance oils. By the way, there are two oils that you can buy that does the same thing. There is the mist infused and the bounty one that is 40 silver, and this one is like 8 or like 10 silver average. So usually buy this one because this comes from World vs. World. So to give some very minor example of what I can do in terms of healing a little bit, let me hop over to my other alt. Actually, I'm gonna activate the AoE with this character. I'm gonna go only moderate because this is not a max level character I have here with the ult, and it has much lower armor and toughness and everything because it's not maximum level, so even the moderate one deals a bit more damage. However, just to say, I will go in with my ult to the golem in a way that I will keep auto attacking the golem, so it can simulate whenever I give nightmare weapon to my ult, then you know it also triggers this like self healings from the siphoning. So I will just go in there, and then I'm gonna swap clients and go back here and just immediately try to heal my little alt character and just pump these healings out. And you can see the healing numbers are quite nice. And I can just pop all the boons whatever I need to, and honestly, like, even with just spamming the spirits, if you want to, you can quite heal a bunch of people. If it's nothing too serious, and you can just camp in Shroud if you wish to. Like, that's what I like, that you can just do whatever you kind of want, you know. It's I just kind of like this, that you have your innervate preservation for nice moments if you have to, but you don't have to spam this for any boons or anything anymore. Previously I didn't exactly like it. I mean, the beta, okay, it was different because you could basically provide permanent stability with it, so of course you wanted to spam it because it will yield you permanent stability. But right now I like it that you know, they kind of nerfed it, buffed it in a sense, with the fact that now, you know, with lingering sprints they don't get destroyed, so you have access for this outside and inside Shroud. So this is actually much more fun to play. Like, it's more reactive, you don't have to spam it, you don't have to be sweaty. Obviously keep up the boons you can, but most of your boons will be overcapped anyway. Like, currently I'm not really focusing on pressing this and Anguish all the time. I usually nowadays I try to start with like Anguish and then the other two, and by the time I cast it I can basically do Anguish again and then pop the inner weight as well. And of course, if you want a bubble or something, you can also do summon sprays there while in Shroud. And honestly, I have no problem. Like, I don't even have to use my weapon spells for anything crazy. If I know that there is something that can be blocked, I can just press this, and my and you know, not my ult, but the other players will have it too, or my group will have it too. Or I can pop this one for stability and ages, and it's instantaneous. Just do remember that the inner red skills happen around the spirits, not around you. So always keep up your spirits and reposition them around you, either by resummoning them or by, you know, by using the summon spirit skill. And you know, because if I'm away now and if I press these, they basically does nothing for me, you know. So I have to resummon them here or move them by summon spirits. So that's practically it. And these are, again, like I mentioned, these are pretty much flex skills. You can just have whatever you need. If you have no need for condition removal during a fight, and maybe just your staff alone is enough, then you can swap, weapon of remedy off. Nightmare weapon is still good in my opinion, because it can be an extra DPS too for your teammates, and so I wouldn't really swap that much. Weapon of warding is really good as well with the block, and like blocking attacks is always great, so I would keep that too. But I mean, nightmare weapon is still kind of a flex regardless, because you don't necessarily need it, because you already have a bunch of healing anyway. But it's kind of great to have just in case. If you have nothing better to use, just use these. Zero's weapon again is kind of there. I can't really show it here unfortunately, because it won't trigger from the AoE for some reason, and neither the blocks, honestly. That's basically how it kind of works. It's very, very chill. You don't have to go crazy on it. There is no tight rotation where you have, if you make the most minor mistake, you're gonna completely F up the entire rotation and your entire, boons, and oh my god, the durations are all over the place now. Obviously, it feels very nice to play. I actually really enjoy playing. I have tried it out in strikes before, in the past 2 days, in many open world and like boss stuff, where typically more damage is being done by the bosses, or the world bosses, where people tend to go down very fast anyway, like honestly Drakar as well. I know it's like an easy world boss, but it can do some serious damage occasionally, where people always get downed because they just can't seem to dodge anyway. But it just feels right. Like they did honestly a very good job for Ritualist. I am very happy. However, the only disappointment comes for me is the fact that Lingering Spirits feels so good that I have no willingness to give Lingering Spirits up for Wielder's Boon or Soul Twisting, because that will automatically mean that you need to manually pop your Innovate skills before you leave Shroud. Because if you pick something like this, like Wielder's Boon, to use these to have the max charges for allies, and if you summon like these two that I can summon, and if I don't use this and pop out of Shroud, it's wasted. Like I cannot react with them, and if I'm out of Shroud, I am locked out from reacting with my Innovate Preservation and such, for example. This is my main problem and main feedback to any of the devs that, might listen to know or not. I try to give my feedback still, because I really enjoy this one. I still wish Lingering Spirits, like the spirits lingering, even if just for like 12 or 15 seconds, would be baseline in maybe Charged Souls or such, in any of these base trait lines, because it is what feels right. Especially after trying Lingering Spirits, not because of the bonuses they give, with the way you can react to things, especially since these are not rupture skills anymore to just kill your spirits, and instead a more of a reaction to whatever situation is there. It's so much better. However, if you use Lingering Spirits, it is absolutely amazing to play, and I just wish that they will make Lingering Spirits or the Spirits Linger baseline, because then it could give us play styles to play. Do you want to focus on weapon spells? Yes, go Wielder's Boon. Your spirits are still around to react with these. That's great. Do you want the extra bonus effects from the spirits? Cool, go with so-called Lingering Spirits, but they could rename it to something else. Go with the middle trait line if you want the bonus stats for yourself, or the bonus healing and whatnot. Do you want some other tricks that you can do by double summoning something? Go Soul Twisting. Cool, it's great. That's it. Like, I wish the Spirits Lingering will be baseline, and I will forever wish for that, because that's what makes Ritualist absolutely fantastic and fun to play, and that's why I cannot get and cannot give up Lingering Spirits anymore, neither for this build. There might be other builds, like I'm not saying that other builds cannot work, but this is what makes it feel right, good, and fun to play, and I've been having a blast with it whenever I have to be heal support. It's fun to play, and I want it to be fun, but I wish I could have fun using Wielder's Boon or even Soul Twisting as well. But maybe we can wish and wonder if they will change that. I hope so, but I don't expect really anything out of that. If not, then I will just forever stick with Lingering Spirits, because that's just simply what it feels fun. Well, that's pretty much the build. I hope I could explain most of it, or almost everything that I could. Again, there is no strict gameplay, just basically spam whatever you can until they stacked, and then just have fun with it, because you don't have to sweat it really that much. Just try to start usually with the spirits, so you can immediately start off with quickness, and then just spam like Inner with Anguish whenever you can of cooldown for the permanent might and fury upkeep, and of course whenever you go back to the Spirit Shroud or Ritualist Shroud, then you can start with Anguish and then, you know, Wanderlust or Preservation, and then by the time you cast the other two, you can cast an Anguish again, and then maybe you can even summon spirits there for a bubble if you have to. If not, then you can just leave, and you know, and then you have just you can just react with these and do other things, and then whenever this is off cooldown again, you can wait a couple of seconds, whatever you want to do, or wait out. You can wait. You are not locked to a strict rotation again. That's what is fun for me. I know that that's like a forbidden word, but it's fun. It's fun to play. It's great. It has great healing. I really enjoy it. So that's basically it. This is my new favorite healer right now. Not just because it is Necro, but because it does remind me of that strong support we had in Guild Wars 1 from the support Ritualist back then as well. And it just feels fun. It is obviously different playstyle, but it's still really fun to play. So that's basically it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you will enjoy and give it a try. And hope you will have fun with it too. So that's it. Bye. Have a good one.